What's going on, guys? Kaiga here. Yesterday I did an updated PvP and PvE tier list for classes. Today I'm doing fairies, which is getting harder and harder now that we have 46 new SSR fairies in the game. Let's jump into it. Alright guys, I get asked all the time, what about the SRs, the purple tier fairies? There's only two that I think are even worth mentioning for free-to-play players, and that's Anthurium, the red male flower fairy, does some of the best healing in the game, and the Earth Sunflower Fairy, which does anti-heal if you're dealing with some of these tankier players that are overhealing damage. Those are the two SR fairies that are still okay, but ideally you would want better SSR versions, but until then, those are the two great options. Now, starting with the PvP tier list, right? I'm going to start from the top left over here in the S tier and work my way down here. Each one is in order, but it's in order by type. First, you'll always see my holies are first. Holy, holy, holy. Then you'll see fire, wind, water, and earth. But within their spectrum, for example, right here in earth, you'll see birds of paradise, I believe is the best out of the three S's right here. Now let's jump into it and make it a little bit quicker now that you understand what's going on in front of you. We have Milim up here in the S tier. I still think she's the best in the game for PvP. There are several counters in the game now, but it's kind of forcing those counters. Urza, high damage, very quick, and even in game modes like Top League, she's very powerful with her skill damage, very similar to Milim. In all PvP game modes, they both do their job. Snakeberry is really, really good. Like I just said for Milim, Snakeberry can be countered. You do a follow-up with Snakeberry, especially her and Milim work really well together, increasing each other's damage multiplicatively. Very, very powerful. And if you do Snakeberry and a certain combo that I talked about before, then you're able to literally one-shot almost every player in the game. But it is able to be played around now that we have Cat and Ninja Tool and things like this. There's ways around it, but if it hits, they're dead, which is why she makes it to the S tier. Then we have Hydra of Flames, turning off dodges, allowing you to combo people, high damage. We have Winter Cherry, primarily for her passive. Her skill itself is pretty bad. She just sits around for like 2.5 to 3 seconds dancing before throwing her skill. But her effect being a rigidity just there allows you to live longer, allowing you to swap fairies, allowing you to do a bunch of things. Then we have a Tranquil Balloon Flower, very, very powerful, primarily here for the passive, for the cooldown, allowing you to do very interesting things like double Moon Slash, triple Tornado, things like this. Then we have the two defensive Wind Fairies right here, Almond Blossom and Eldewise. Almond Blossom giving you a free jail-free card against some CC effects, and Eldewise giving you crit immunity, which is better than Tenacity because Tenacity gets funneled through the algorithm to make crit immunity. This cuts the middleman, is just crit immunity. For water, we just have two. We have Blue Rose. If you're at high HP, does more damage. If you're at low HP, take less damage. Literally what you want from her. We have Gardenia, lowers your healing, but also gives you more survivability in response, as well as the power of the ability is just very, very strong. Earth, we have Birds of Paradise. Literally just jumped to the top because of the multi-stun, as well as just the damage output is very, very high. Tulip's Gambling is enough to be up here by itself. Then we have Foxglove, which at this point is kind of falling off. She is primarily here for the crit rate. If you have a shield, everyone uses Priest. So you use Star Blessing, get a shield, it increases your crit, and then Foxglove further increases your crit. It's just peanut butter jelly. Down here at A, we have, she actually did fall down, Sakura, which is still good, still a stun, still a defense down, but it's a little bit slow compared to these two up here. Then we have, these two are a great couple right here. Butterfly Orchid and Hibiscus, shield and heal, as well as lock them down with cannot move and then AoE them down. Fire, Natsu does amazing damage, and a big thing with the Slaughter will is they have to be under 60% HP, and Natsu does a really good job putting them under 60% HP, and which combos really well with Anathria right here. You get them, you Natsu them under 60, you slaughter them under 40, and then Anathria comes in for the kill. And if she does not kill, gives them anti-heal, so they can't heal back up, so you still have a chance to kill them. A nice little 1-2 going on right there. For A, the only water one is Ikoria. The You Cannot Die button is very, very powerful, especially with all of these one-shots going around. Wind, the only thing making it up here is going to be Camellia, and that's due to her movement speed as well as the damage increase. Earth has two that make it up here. Earth Anathria just has the high damage and passive effect, and Primrose still makes it up here for the stun and damage reduction, which is nice to have a Gen 1 all the way up here. B, you'll see even Holy got some switch ups. We have Mistletoe, locking them down, forcing them in an AoE. Also combos really well with the other two here, as well as any other AoE fairy, even Urza. Laurel follows them a little bit and then does great AoE. Licorice requires a setup move, much like Butterfly Orchid or Milim, to put them in place so you can hit for the massive amount of damage and stun. Earth, Dahlia can one-shot tanks, but they can easily get rid of it, especially now that we have Cat and stuff. And Rose with the double silence is very, very powerful. Camellia with the knockup. We have Balloon Flower with the pull together and defense down. Lavender puts them to sleep and then gives you a damage amp against them. And if you play it correctly, you should be able to one-shot them while asleep. Daisy has nice reflect damage that ignores defense. Down here in the C and D tier, ones you really shouldn't be looking at unless in specific situations. We have Gypsophilia, which can be nice if you get it stacked up in group PvP, because it will reduce the amount of CC on you. We have Rimuru, gets rid of buffs and gives you buffs. The thing is, the amount of buffs Rimuru can eat are very few and far between. Diablo is faster in single target versus Rose, but does not have the double silence or ignoring defense. Ixoria gives you a huge damage spike, but will pretty much kill you in any kind of PvP situation. Hyacinth gives some nice cooldown, but that's literally all he's giving to you. He's nice to have. As you see, we don't have a lot of wind. That is very nice to have. For example, if you have these three up here and don't have Camellia, he's nice, or regular Camellia is pretty good. 1A, 1B right here with Lotus and Hydreiga. One gives silence, one does a pull. Hydreiga gives a defense buff. Lotus is a lot faster. Carnation pulls in. Doesn't do as much pull in. It used to do pull in during the entire time. Now it just does one pull in. But her plus a road will kill an entire team. The thing is, it's only for obviously group PvP. Down here at D, Twins only cares about PvE. Same thing with Chestnut Rose. Dandelion just shoots a single spot. Group PvP, but it's literally just one spot. Wendy only does PvE. Viola does do a nice knockup, but it has a long time before it actually does the knockup, as well as just isn't powerful enough. Candok is Candok. And Marigold, while she does have a slow, takes a long time to cast, doesn't do much damage, just ignorable. Down here at PvE, you'll see some are the same, but a lot is different. A lot gets cleaned up actually here. Twin Lotus and Gypsophilia are very, very powerful in PvE. It's debatable if Snakeberry is going to overtake them. Generally, when we're talking about PvE, we're talking about Guild Boss, we're talking about doing the Path of Fire, things like this, which I believe these two still do better in that. But for PvE Burst, just doing the most one-shot in PvE, Snakeberry is your girl. It's just with most of the types of PvE leaning towards these two. If it was more 1 and 2 second things like the events that happen every once in a while, then Snakeberry would be at the very top. Fire, we have Winter Cherry and Chestnut. Winter Cherry giving them fire weakness and damage amp, and then Chestnut giving more damage amp. Natsu coming in for massive damage, especially against big bosses like Guild Boss and stuff, because he does bonus damage based on their HP. Wind, we have Balloon Flower right here. The cooldown is nice. The active doesn't really matter, but the damage is still good. Camellia with the Tornado, especially on Guild Boss and stuff, does pretty high damage. Then we have Blue Rose. Ideally, in PV, you're not losing HP, so it's always just a damage amp. Gardenia, same thing. Earth, we have the same three. We have Birds of Paradise got pushed down, but Anathria took her place. Those two swapped. Anathria high PvE damage and damage amp. Then we have Gamble. Then we have Crit. And both of these holies increase your damage, which also help for PvE. Milim increases the damage of your fairies, which is going to help you in PvE. Urza increases the damage of your class, which is going to help you in PvE. Hydreiga Flames, the anti-dodge doesn't matter, but massive damage. Anathria does damage under 40%, which against things like Guild Boss, they stay under 40% for a long time. Then we have Balloon Flower, AoE defense down. Hyacinth gives you cooldown, then you swap to another team. Ikoria isn't primarily here for her anti-death. She's here for the actual ability this time, giving you the stats. Birds of Paradise, the stun doesn't really matter, but the amount of hits do, as well as the stun can matter, and things like Elemental Realm, because the Earth Elemental Realm cares about stunning to get rid of his shield. Then we have Carnation, massive PvE damage, especially with Erode, and stacks Erode the fastest. These two both stack Erode very, very quickly. Down here at B, we have good AoE with Laurel. We have defense down from Sakura. We have AoE damage from Hibiscus. Ixoria is debatable to be up in the A tier just with the damage amp she does do. I just believe that these two are better in most PvE if we're talking about just a long drawn out fight like Guild Boss or something. Then Exoria is one of the best fire to note. Almond Blossom for the damage. Same thing with Viola. And then in Earth, we have some interesting ones. We have Daisy, which does a bunch reflect in PvE, as well as ignoring defense with the burn, and a Marigold giving you damage against Earth weakness characters. Down here at the C tier, we have Butterfly Orchid, which doesn't do as much in PvE as she does in PvP because the cannot move doesn't really matter. Same thing with Licorice, but the damage is enough to be up here. 1A, 1B, single target AoE right here. Wendy, she would be a lot higher if she gave damage amp as well, but she just does the wind weakness. Dandelion just shoots an area. She's even bad in her own elemental realm because there's spawns all over the place and this only hits one spot. Lavender does give you a damage amp, but you're in most PvE you have to do it as fast as possible. Laurel's not about fast. These two, 1A, 1B, pretty much do the same things. Down here at D tier, we have Mistletoe. Her, if you try to run away, stun doesn't matter in PvE. Rimuru, even less things to eat than PvP. Dahlia, there's nothing to reflect. Camellia does high damage, but the knockup doesn't matter. Eldewise, the crit immunity does not matter, but the poison is nice. Candok is Candok, and Primrose is primarily a PvP fairy. Let me know what you guys think down below. Till next time, guys.